it's Jessica and welcome back to Chess Up Blades. So today we're going to take a look at the secret route, which happens to be Sabre. Sabre actually has a route in this game. He was actually one of the Kickstarter extended goals that was supposed to be happening. I heard that Silas was to have a route too, but unfortunately it didn't reach the goal, so that kind of sucks. But at least we get Sabre, so kind of interested into seeing like what's going to happen with him, because it actually branches off from Arden's route, and we know how Arden feels about Sabre and like what happens to Sabre in Arden's route. So I'm a little bit curious as to see how this is going to change the story and how it's going to affect Rivian himself. Before we begin, if you guys missed the other routes that I have done, check out the link in the description for the playlist and you can see all the routes I've done already. And yeah, let's start. So we gotta split up from Arden, sorry dude, and we gotta go on our own. Exhaling a sigh, I offer the book to Arden, who takes it with a slightly puzzled tilt of his head. I think we should split it up and try to look for clues, anything that might help us to make sense of what's going on. You take a look through the book and see if there's something of use. I'm not really in the mood for a leisurely read right now, so I think I'll go investigate some more. My directive causes Arden's eyes to momentarily widen before he averts his gaze, offering a reluctant nod.
If you say so, Riv. I guess I'll head back to my room.
Okay! It's pretty obvious you wanted us to stick together, Arden, such a master of subtlety. Still, I can't really think straight when he's following me around. I need some time to brood over things myself. Turning away from Arden, I shove my hands in my pocket and my coat and head down the corridor, not looking back. He may be overly honest, but he's not stupid. He can figure out something out by himself, surely. I return to the main hall, wondering where exactly I should try to search. As I head down the stairs, I notice a steady stream of people heading into one side of the corridors, chatting excitedly as they go. Is there some sort of indoor event going on due to the rain? Driven by curiosity, I drift over to the direction of the crowd, trying to listen for any hints of what's going on.
So then he challenged him to a match, just like that. It seemed like they were friends then.
Well, what do you expect? Brutes like that need to get their aggression
Oh
out
no.
somehow. I'm just glad it's not on us.
A snippet of a conversation gives me an idea of what's going on. Some sort of impromptu fight by the sound of it. Who are the participants, I wonder? With no idea where to search for clues, I decide to follow the guests into the hall, staying alert for anything that might be related to Hazel. The chatter seems to be growing more excited the further we head down the corridor. Before long, I can even hear the sound of cheers coming from nearby. It must be a spectacular sight indeed to get in a fickle and pompous crowd so worked up. This is so random. Finally, I step into the large chamber, joining a sizable audience circled around the center. It appears that the dueling ring, or maybe a storage chamber cleared out to serve as the purpose of one. My eyes are quickly drawn to one of the fighters standing in the ring. It's the same gargantuan man Arden and I ran into. Wasn't he complaining about games being called off? What could have happened while we were talking to Linnaeus?
Oh, Kieran! I hope you're ready to be eating stone and dirt for supper!
Can I be honest? I'm not sure if I've usually I enjoy like different characters because it's a different story, but we know Sabre is like a bad guy because this is connected with Arden's story, so it's just kind of weird and I don't know exactly like what to expect. Sabre's loud booming jeer is directed towards another man standing across a circle. While he's not tall as Sabre, he's just muscular built. He seems like he could actually give a ginger-haired behemoth a run for his money. Damn it, what's with all the beefy men walking around all of a sudden? Are they trying to make me feel inadequate? Because it's working. Whoa!
Not today, old friend. I don't want to disappoint our kind audience by capitulating so easily.
Whoa, who's this? Hello. Hi. Sabre's opponent, Kieran, calls back with a polite, playful retort, smiling confidently. He doesn't seem afraid, nor does Sabre appear to be antagonistic towards him. In fact, I say there's an air of a mutual respect about them, even if it's tempered with a healthy dose of rivalry.
Attention! The match shall commence on the count of 3.
Everyone quiets down a little when the announcer's voice echoes around the room. I stand at the edge of the ring to get the best view I can find, finding myself a lot more excited and impatient than I probably should be.
3, 2, 1, begin!
Jesus, alright, well, this is new. As soon as the count ends, Sabre charges at Kieran like a tiger leaping at prey. For someone so large, he's incredibly fast. His long legs carry him forward with immense strides that equate to 5 of my own. Remember, Rivian short. However, Kieran darts out of the way, definitely avoiding Sabre's first attack. He spins around immediately, then aims a high kick up towards Sabre's side. I really thought that was going to land, but somehow Sabre seems to see the strike coming just in time to shift back. He answers Kieran with a swing from one of his bandaged fists. It's aimed directly for his solar perplex. He manages to connect even if the impact is softened by Kieran's twisting on one side. Kieran winces, looking like a wind's been knocked out of him. If one of those melon-sized fists had hit me like that, I probably would just expired on the spot. Basically, he's gonna die.
This isn't boxing. This is more like a bar fight.
I know! Isn't it amazing?
Cheers and calls of encouragement start to rise around me from the gathering nobles, most of them young like me and eager to see blood being spilled for their own amusement. What a barbaric lot. Then again, I'd be a hypocrite to call them out. After all, I'm almost hypnotized by the spectacle too. Sabre lets out a grunt as Kieran throws a punch to the side of his jaw, which connects with a loud thud. But while the force of the blow would likely send a normal man staggering, Sabre doesn't seem affected by it at all. It's hard not to admire how star-wall he is, like some sort of unmovable boulder. As I watch the two men dodge and strike at each other, I notice how giddy both of them seem to be. It really must be something getting pushed to your body to its physical limits like that, relying on pure instinct and skill. I'm almost a little jealous. Even though they're trying to bash each other's heads in, it feels like there is certain intimacy and camaraderie between them.
Take this!
Who's gonna win? Kieran takes several rough hits on the abdomen and the side of his face, suddenly slams his fist against Sabre's mouth. Even after the blow meets a mark, instead of pulling back, Sabre just yanks his leg up to knee Kieran in the stomach. The shorter man stumbles back, his face scrunched up in pain. Grinning wildly, Sabre spits out a little blood to one side, wiping off his reddened lips with his forearm afterwards. He doesn't give Kieran any time to move away, however. Instead, the fiery-haired man lashes out and drives an uppercut against his chin, connecting solidly. I reflectively cringe. Kieran, who is built like 3 of me, still topples to the ground with a single tremendous strike. I thought that guy had a chance, I guess not. Sabre approached him with a slow, menacing steps, breathing heavily.
Get him, Sabre.
More! I want to see more!
Oh, everyone's getting off on this, apparently. As a part of me wants to yell out for the two men to stop, I'd rather not see either of them lose. I don't think I could stomach what would happen if things go much further. But I can only watch mesmerized as Sabre stops before Kieran, standing like a gargantuous statue over his fallen opponent, and extends a hand down to help him up. Grunting, Sabre pulls Kieran to his feet, slapping him firmly on the back.
Your go. There's a good lad.
When the two of the men exchange bolstering laughs, I start to feel silly for even worrying. It was easy to mistake the tension in the air for murderous intent, but really, it's not much of a difference of two wolves tussling with each other for play. Although disappointed voices rise from the crowd when the fight comes to a halt, they rise back up in cheers when Sabre grabs Kieran's hand to lift it up.
We'll be having another go at this tomorrow. And if all of you don't come and watch, I'll hunt you down and eat ya!
I oppose to that idea. He bares his teeth with a loud growl, so much is he spitting image of a ferocious tiger that I half expect him to suddenly sprout stripes. His antics entice laughs and calls for praise from the gathered nobles, who start to gradually disperse back outside, probably to find some new form of entertainment. As the crowd thins, I linger by the side of the pit, curiously observing the two fighters.
You really are next to unbeatable in hand-to-hand, Sabre. Still, if we were dueling with weapons, I promise you wouldn't stand a chance.
Oh, is that so? Well, your skills with a blade and spear are right fearsome, I'll give you that. Almost makes me quake in me boots, yar.
I wonder what's Kieran's role, aside from being like the fighter and whatever, is he connected to the disciples at all, or is he just like some random guy? They share a chuckle, pushing playfully at each other's shoulders. I feel like a bit of a third wheel all of a sudden. Turning around, I head over to the door, my mood slinking steadily.
Oi! Just where do you think you're going?
Outside? Was that just directed towards me?
Get back here, you golden-haired bird boy! Oh, what was his name? Oi! Rivian!
It was definitely directed towards me. I swivel around to see Sabre standing outside the pit, leering in my direction. Kieran, too, seems to have noticed, and glances between us quizzically.
You two know each other? Sabre, have you been making friends?
Although I haven't the faintest clue why he'd asked to speak to me again, I approach Sabre a little cautiously. After seeing him in his tiger mode, it's hard not to feel a bit wary. That might be a strong word for it. We just met earlier, after all.
Hey, what happened to the little red pup that was following you? He was attached to you like a damn leech.
Yeah, I sent him away. Poor Arden, like 2 roots that he's like trapped between other people. Sabre's unexpected comment makes me pause. It's definitely refuted that one, isn't it?
Or maybe you're trying to get away from him.
Yeah.
Oh, Kieran, you know how it goes, don't you? All the adoring squires that come after you.
He nudges Kieran's shoulder with a boulder-sized fist. Kieran, however, just seems to be carefully examine my expression, his brow furrowing ever so slightly with faint concern.
I think you're exaggerating a little, Sabre. But Rivian, right? It's dangerous to play with people's hearts, you know.
Yes, it is.
You should tell someone sooner rather than later that they're unwanted company.
You know what? Even though Kieran has no idea what's happening, he has a point. Like, I know Rivian was struggling with his feelings towards Arden, but honestly, if he just said, like, I don't want to be near you right away, then this story would have been a lot better. And I feel less bad about, you know, leaving Arden behind. Because if he said that when we were in Linnea's route, or in this route, if he said that beforehand, then I wouldn't feel so bad, like, leaving him behind. Because I know he's still in love with him, and it's just like, Rivian hasn't said anything, so, Yes, I quite agree. It's rather hard to do when you're working together for the sake of an impromptu investigation, though. Kieran blinks in surprise at my words. Sabre reacts more subtly, and for a split second, his features briefly contort into something like a pained look. Maybe because he's, like, involved. What's with that face, I wonder?
Investigating? You mean the disappearance of the little girl?
Oh dear. I never thought about it before, but maybe I shouldn't go around telling people everything about the investigation, especially since I'm not sure who I can trust. Play it off, I can't help but be involved. Okay, since we are doing Sabre's work, we have to, like, tell him everything, even though he's technically the bad guy, but let's see what happens. I nod, running a hand through my hair with a slightly awkward laugh. It probably seems strange for the 2 unrelated noblemen to be so involved in, but, well, after I saw Hazel's mother so distraught, it affected me more than I thought it could. Especially since Hazel is such an innocent little thing, a lot like my own sister. It's hard to enjoy a celebration when I think about the danger she's in, or what she could have suffered right now, even though everyone else appears to have forgotten. Oh shit, was I just rambling just now? Look at me, being an emotional pansy while I'm flanked by 2 broad slabs of manliness. I feel like I need to go punch something to redeem myself.
You're right. It's a cruel situation, especially for the poor girl's mother. Everyone would be a lot more up in arms if it was a nobleman's daughter. Don't you think, Sabre?
Ironically, isn't it? When Kieran nudges to his side, Sabre stiffens. After his uncharacteristic moment of hesitation, he scratches his beard with his fingertips, nodding distractedly.
Aye, you're right.
You're falling apart there, Sabre. The moment of silence that follows feels oddly heavy. All the other guests have cleared out of the arena by now, leaving just the 3 of us. Finally, Kieran lets out a long sigh and claps his hand on Sabre's shoulder, offering a nod both to him and me.
Well, best of luck to you, Rivian.
Thanks.
I'm going to go do some training for a rematch tomorrow, I think. If I come across anything that might help your investigation, I'll let you know.
After I give him a faint smile of appreciation, he steps out of the ring and heads to the door, rubbing at the spot on his face that Sabre fist smashed into earlier with a slight grunt of pain. His figure soon disappears around the corner, and only Sabre and I are left in the large chamber. I should probably leave too. But Sabre looks like he really wants to say something, and a strange compulsion keeps me rooted in place.
Well, Pico, do you have time for a wee talk? It won't be nothing much.
Sure. Well, I don't see why not. He's been acting odd for a little while now. In fact, there's next to no trace of a beastly aggressiveness he was radiating earlier, as if nothing existed at all. Oh boy, I wonder what he's gonna say. Motioning with one large hand for me to follow, Sabre walks out into the hall, apparently having a specific destination for our chat in mind. I have to jog up to keep up with him due to my cursedly short legs. I thank you, dear father and mother, for passing on me such a wonderful physical traits. The gigantic, fiery-haired man leads me down to a few corridors, seeming to brood quietly to himself all the while. Before long, we end up in a place that I already visited twice today, the storage chamber. Sabre gestures towards the decently sized crate that I could use for a chair, although he settles down on the ground himself. Now that I think about it, I don't have any crates in this room that could support his weight and size. It'd probably just smash apart. I lower myself onto the crate, swallowing anxiously. For whatever reason, I'm not really nervous out of fear for my safety, but rather this awkward atmosphere just as has me on edge.
I'm going to drop the act for a little while, if that's alright with you.
You know, that's very interesting. I really didn't think Sabre would be like, yeah, I'm faking my accent. I'm gonna talk like I normally do. That's really interesting. I really thought, like, for this route, he would take a little bit before he'd be like, I'm just joking, I'm not Scottish. My jaw drops. Did he? Wait, that means his accent is...
It draws in the crowds a lot more if you give them what they want. A burly, brutish fighter from some rustic place. It's a part of the Sabre persona, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Although, the line between him and me is a little blurred.
It's kind of like when you think of like professional wrestlers, like in the WWE, they have their own persona and like stage name, or any person in the entertainment industry. Example, like me, I use my internet alias, which is Just the Noob, but that's not really my name, obviously. But it's the same thing. You put on an act when you're being in the entertainment industry and you're entertaining a lot of people. Sabre explains to me with a grimace, his features darkening. So all of that gruffness, that's just all an act? He nods a little, but a slight smirk spreads over his face for a moment.
Most of it. I'll let you decide which parts. That's not what I wanted to talk to you about, though. I was more curious about your investigation.
Why? Why are you curious about the investigation? It's not like you have anything to do with it, right? So that's why he brought me here? Now that I think about it, his attitude definitely changed when I brought it back up in the arena. What about it? Did you want to offer your assistance? I could always use more muscle on my side, especially since the cowardly bastard tried to kill me earlier. Sabre stares at— oh, wait. Sorry, to recap, in Arden's route, remember that guy? Remember when Rivian was in this room, he saw a key on the floor and he was gonna pick it up and some dick threw a dart at him? Because I know I didn't show it in my Let's Play, but there was a part where you can actually— there's someone's voice like, you help me, remember? And if you go follow the voice, it's actually Alistair and Celeste. So I'm wondering, who the hell is this guy throwing darts? Is that Sabre? But then again, the guy didn't look like Sabre, because Sabre's a really big dude. So maybe it was Kieran. I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe he's involved too. He did say he was good with weapons, remember? So that could be a clue. Sabre stares at me wide-eyed for a moment, then averts his gaze, frowning darkly at the ground. He appears to sink deep into thought, idly curling and uncurling his fingers into his palm, cursing the fabric of his bandages and to creak softly each time.
The disciples of Ignatius.
The group Linnaeus just mentioned. How on earth does Sabre know about them?
They've infiltrated this celebration with several agents. It was probably one of them who made an attempt on your life for getting in the way.
He sounds so grimly confident that it hardly seems like a mere conjecture. How can you possibly know that? Are you a part of an underground spy network organized by the king or something? My shocked response entices a chuckle from Sabre, but it sounds bitter rather than mirthful.
I think the king's forgotten I even exist when he's not pitting me in a brawl against some other beastly man. So no, to answer your question.
The scorn in his voice is apparent, but also there's an odd note of something like sadness, almost? But he quickly clears his throat, stiffening his posture a little.
It's better for me to spare you the details. What I wanted to tell you, however, was that you should halt your investigation.
Yeah, because you're gonna murder me, right? Sabre watches me keenly, his normally exaggerated expression much more subdued, but no less intense.
No good will come of it. Not with the disciples involved. You'll just end up getting hurt. Better to let the King's men take care of it.
Like hell I'll stop now. If my own sister was the one who was captured, I wouldn't be standing by twiddling my thumbs and hoping a bunch of clueless men in uniforms find her before she turns into a bloody paste. My voice grows sharp with anger and Sabre is taken aback. If it was some useless prance of a nobleman who got captured, then fine, let the King's men handle it. But it's an innocent little girl who shouldn't be involved in all this madness of politics and plotting in the first place. Should be everyone's duty to help her. I bite my lips, surprised at the vehemency of my own emotions. But it's true. People who play with fire and dabble in the dark, an underbelly of society, deserve whatever they get. Stooping so low to involve a child, though? There's no excuse for that.
That's an admirable attitude. I doubt you could persuade the disciples with that argument, however. They'll kill you and her without a second thought, no matter how noble your intentions are. How innocent she is.
Sabre stares with me in a complicated expression, the look of his eyes unreadable. Then I'll have to just look out for myself. I'm afraid of dying, like any sane man would, yet I'm not such a pathetically spineless cur as to let that keep me from searching for her. I know I'm no hero, I'm just an awkward, judgmental, average man with rich parents. But I was taught that someone has to be there for those who can't protect themselves. And if I have to risk my life to step into that role, then so be it. Ooh, Rivian, I'm so proud of you that he would say that. Because it's true. He's just an awkward, random rich guy, that's all he is. And he's willing to, like, risk himself to help someone who he barely knows. I close my eyes, feeling a little embarrassed as soon as the words leave my mouth. From Sabre's perspective, I probably sound like a self-righteous noble trying to boost my own ego by playing the knight in shining armor. Well, maybe he's right. Am I trying to live sort of a heroic fantasy by doing all of this?
Crazy peacock.
A soft bemused mutter comes from beside me. And then... What the fuck? Suddenly something presses up against my mouth hard. Wow! Why is this happening so early? What the fuck? Okay. My eyes shoot open and I realize Sabre is pulling me into a spontaneous kiss, curling an arm around my waist to keep me from drawing away. Although my first instinct is to recoil, the taste of his lips completely throws me for a loop. This is so random! A mingled blend of blood, sweat, and something slightly spicy like cinnamon. He keeps me passionately locked against him, and I keep there a little point in trying to break away from the strength, even one in his powerful arms. The sensation of his tongue tracing across my mouth and his teeth tugging low on my lower lip causes an unusual spark to run through me, pulling in my stomach and drifting down to my hips. Oh my goodness! I don't know if I like this because it's just like one, we know he's the bad guy. Two, it's just like, this isn't right in a way, so... We've known each other for barely a few hours, but it feels like he's pouring out the contents of his soul into one kiss. He fiercely presses his tongue past my lips to fill my mouth with a taste of visceral fashion. It's so coarse that it barely seems to be a kiss any longer, but rather some sort of bluntly honest way of exploring each other, bypassing all the traditional lead up. Press a hand against his broad shoulders, feeling how tense his muscular form is. God, I'm such a girl for thinking like this, but he really is incredibly well built. My jealousy is getting overwhelmed by admiration.
So soft.
Oh, God. He whispers against my lips, his own curling into a gentle smirk. I want to protest against the humiliation moniker of delicate, but his tongue swirls back into my mouth before I can get a chance, and he pulls lightly on my hair. The way he said it, too, makes me a little less sour. Not like it was a bad thing, but rather something wondrous, as if he is admiring me the same way I'm inwardly fawning over him. I end up pressing back against his own cracked and slightly blooded lips, drawing by their roughness. This is probably not the way someone should react in an unwarranted kiss, but after all the bizarre things that have happened over the past few days, I feel like I've been desensitized to such a sudden occurrences. Really? I would be like, what the hell are you doing, dude? And push him off. And something about Sabre's directness is strangely invigorating. It's so raw and intense that I have a sense that I'm being played with by a massive tiger, staring into his jaws. He eventually pulls back and drags his tongue across his lips for a long moment. I'm quite sure that my cheeks are completely flushed, because Sabre's eyes roam over my face with a look of satisfaction. It seemed like he almost was about to press in again for another kiss, but instead he abruptly pushes himself up to his feet.
A nighttime tryst in the garden would be a nice way to continue this, don't you think?
Are you gonna murder me there? Musing to himself slightly, Sabre flashes me a wink. And then, just like that, he adjusts his coat and strides out to the corridor, leaving me alone in the stunned silence. What just happened? That's what I'm asking too! Alright guys, I'm gonna end this right here. That was so random. Like, I don't know if I like it, because at least with the other guys, they were just like, oh, we have a build up and a lead up to them being all physical and romantic and whatever. We know Sabre's the bad guy. He's the one who kidnapped Hazel, and is just like, hey, let's just make out with him in the fucking storage room, because I'm surprised Rivian didn't push him away or something like that, since they barely know each other, so this is kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about this. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what your thoughts are so far with this route. I'm very confused. And thank you once again to AGirlAndAGame for sending me a game key to play this. Boy, oh boy, I'm glad I saved this for last. Also, if you guys would like to support the channel on Patreon, the link is in the description, or you can support the channel for free with gawkbox.com/AGirlAndAGame. That way it will help me continue this series and continue the channel overall. So yeah, I'm just very, you know, surprised. Okay, I'm gonna end this video now. So, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
What?
Great job, you're being a hero. We weren't even paying attention. The guy just ran away. Good job, Woodford. Kale grabs a pillow next to me. I'll ease your back. It'll make more comfortable since I'm... Oh god, since I'm bigger. Sorry, I'm thinking of something else. Bigger?